Hello and welcome to Movement Review. So, a little bit of a different video, haven't uploaded in a little bit, but this is essentially me reviewing some of the best movement videos from the past week on Instagram using the hashtag movement culture. So, should we get started? So, looking at this video here, lovely little bit of free running to begin with, Mac McCreary 1. I love this style of free running, right? I really do. When you look at it, he's literally moving like water. Snake style, like he says, snaky style. So you can literally see it's him in the environment moving through, almost falling around the obstacles, right? Look here, it's like he almost falls off this. Do you know what I mean? So he's in the environment, but he's like bouncing off things and just it's almost like, it is kind of just like controlled falling with a lot of style into this lovely cork. Amazing, love it. Now, something I learned while doing parkour for the past few years is the fewer steps there are, the more flowy something will look. So for example, right, let's say I'm here, right, and say I'm going to do a Kong, just a simple Kong roll, right, bang, over. If I'm coming up to a Kong roll, bang, like that, it's not going to look that flowy. But if I'm coming up to the Kong roll, 1, 2, bang, it's going to look a lot more flowy. Experiment with it, yourself, but essentially, the fewer steps you do in a parkour line, the more flowy you can make it. Of course, you need those essential steps, but that's essentially kind of how flow works. It looks a lot more purposeful and, yeah, flowy. But no, this is amazing. I'm assuming he was out with Ashigaru, a German team. I know Mark himself is very flowy, very similar style. But yeah, love this mate. All right, Joy Isabella Brown. Whoa. Love that, nice. Okay. Cool, so this roll is, I saw it mainly from Pasha the Boss, again, a free runner, right? So essentially, yeah, you're kind of rolling backwards, and essentially, as you can see, it's a simple roll to do. It looks complex, but what happens? You roll backwards, as soon as you pop onto your shoulders, you want to pop the opposite shoulder round and then come down on your head. I don't do it as nice as this, anywhere near as nice, and I haven't done it in a long time. This is the clip of me doing it out of an aerial. But essentially, yeah, it's a really nice roll. I love how it's backwards and then forwards again. It just adds another kind of element into it. Looks very controlled, very nice. Awesome. And you can see a lot of the elegance comes from his hand placements. As he comes up for this first one here, his hands drift. They come back down. His limbs move with the momentum of his body, which you'll see is a recurring theme with very elegant movers. Everything moves how it should, essentially. But no, I love this. Really good. All right, let's have a look at this one. It looks like I used to do similar things. I haven't seen it yet. So he's at a little kind of park here, and he's on, these like parallel bars here. Yeah, nice. Some quadrupedal movements there. Honestly, if you guys haven't done something like this before, who is this? Flexiblefitness.in. If you guys haven't done this before, it can be really fun. Essentially, going to your local park or even just out and about and finding a small structure and finding loads of ways to climb around it. If I was him, I would have gone underneath it and done another koala. Yeah, but essentially, it's really fun kind of just going and finding kind of one obstacle just to move around. Because let's go again. He steps out, he moves on top, kind of like a muscle up kind of movement there, pressing into a quadrupedal movement there. Essentially, I know Ido Portal talks about it a lot. When you limit your movements, your environment, how you can move, you get more creative. And that's exactly what this is. He's limiting. He's not allowed to touch the floor. He's only allowed on the top bar and the sides, obviously. So he has to get creative. If you haven't done something like this before, honestly, it can be really fun. Give it a go. You can even just do it on a wall outside. Just find one obstacle and try and move around as creatively as you can. And let that inner child come out, really. Ooh, let's have a look here. It looks like some tricking on a sprung floor. Love a bit of tricking. Right, let's have a look. Okay, little macaque. Okay, cool. Nice, and again, showing us progressions by the looks of it. Okay. Cool. Nice, getting used to some movements there by the looks of it. Some fake falls there. I don't know what they're called. Some suicide falls, are they? Is that what they're called? Right, Shinobi Mover. I guess he's getting used to this stuff. Nice. This guy's obviously more experienced going into is that a Randy, I think? I don't know. But yeah, the macaque is a really lovely movement. Obviously, it comes from capoeira, as far as I know. And especially when you get the split legs, they can look much nicer. I'm terrible on trampolines myself. I'm not a fan of like them myself, but I love the movements, especially with the suicide fall where you jump up and it looks like you're gonna land on your head. He's obviously wearing a Farang hoodie there, parkour team, so I'm assuming they're just doing some indoors training. But no, that's proper fun. That I do like that. Makakus are actually how I learned how to back handspring. Started on one hand, started jumping back more, and then just committed with two hands. But no, it's lovely to see, you know, this kind of beginner mindset again. Very important when it comes to this stuff. So this guy's got very interesting movement. Obviously, he's one of the OGs training with Ido Portal back in the day when Ido was kind of new on the scene. It would be him, I think Odelia, I think that's how you say her name, and Ido, and of course Johnny as well. But he's kind of moved into his own stuff now. I know he's doing online coaching as well for the same price I think Ido offers it. Let's have a look though, because his movement's very different. It's very, I don't know, it's not as artistic in the way of flow and expression and micro acrobatics, but as you can see, it's very controlled. Like I saw someone in the comment one time saying they called it the master. They called him the master of useless movement. I wouldn't say that at all, because what movement is useless? What's useful? It depends what your purpose is. Now, it's not as expression-full as the locomotion you may see, but the control this takes to stay in that handstand position and moving the legs around. Let's see how he does it. So he goes into the normal handstand. He's just moving his legs, crossing, tapping down, crossing, tapping down. There's no chance I could hold that for that long at all. I mean, my shoulders are aching from some boxing I did the other day, but we'll see. Chance of this happening. Oh, maybe a little bit. The shoulders aren't doing it from my training the other day, but it's, yeah, he makes it look a lot more easy. I think that's a lot of his movement. With a lot of his movement, he makes it look so much easier than it actually is. I mean, look at the size of his delts. No wonder, he's always in this inverted handstand position, as you can see. Taking some inspiration from the Jackie Chan handstand, or push-ups by the looks of it. If he goes onto his wrist here, like I think I saw. This is some very interesting movement too. So yeah, on his wrist there, very similar to Jackie Chan's kind of wrist push-ups. Man, the strength to hold that position. I know he used to be, I believe it was a swimmer or a tennis player, like professional. I like this movement a lot though. You can see that, let me get this pen up. Let me get this pen so I can demonstrate when it comes back around. So yeah, his hand's planted here. His arm is almost like the transmission. You can think of this as a chain, right? A chain which allows the movement to move up. The main joint moving here, you can see, is his scapula, right? That's literally the shoulder blade on your back. Now it's moving, kind of, you can see the attachment point obviously from the shoulder. It's your shoulder, isn't it? The attachment point of the kind of bicep goes into the kind of part of your chest down to the anterior delt. So you can see the movement's coming from the shoulder blade, but at the same time it's causing some mobility here. So for example, one of the best ways to really stretch out the shoulders and kind of bring them back is just to go into a dead hang. And of course you can do some kind of movements and stuff like this, and Tai Chi is really lovely. I mean, if you think about it, when you're doing Tai Chi and Qigong kind of movements, Tai Chi specifically, you are getting some lovely movements, and these kind of movements here like you do in Kung Fu, you get a very similar thing where the arm is the chain, you're moving it, but what he's doing here is he's down on the floor and he's keeping the hand planted, which puts a lot more specific mobility on the shoulder. If you think about it, if your hand's not planted, then you're getting more, it's not necessarily coming from the shoulder blade. If you plant the hand down, then you can just get a lot more kind of mobility there, and you can really kind of, yeah, that feels good. That feels good. Not something I've seen before, but 100% a way to get more mobility. Bit more practice. I like that. I do. That's the thing. He's always doing these odd movements, and there's a lot of gold in there. See what I did there? Yeah, I'll stop. Right. Yeah. So yeah, lovely to see that. Right. Yeah. So her name's Odelia Gold. Don't know whether they're related or married or what's going on there, but she is just, again, on another level when it comes to her movement. Let's see some more flow. Oh, lovely, some spinal wave work. What? So this is very similar to kind of the pop and lock breakdance movement you'll see. Yeah, okay. Let's see what's happening. I get you. Okay, so what you're seeing here, right, is, let me just play it so she's on her side. There we go. So essentially, a lot of the movement, where she looks like she's drifting across the floor, of course that's going to be coming from her feet down here. She's going to be doing kind of some shuffles with her feet, which almost creates a robotic-like movement, which it kind of looks, it doesn't look human, which makes it look amazing. As Ido says, next level. It looks really good. So essentially, it almost looks like she's moving, driving the movement from her shoulders. Yeah, so you can see, she came round there to begin with. And then essentially you'll see her shoulders move, her arms follow. It's what I said earlier, which make movements look elegant. You move the body and the arms will move relative to it. So, well, for example, if you move the shoulders forward, some people will just kind of do this. It doesn't look very elegant. Look at the difference between this to that. It looks a lot more elegant doing this because you understand you move the chest forward fast. The arms, upper arms, have more movement, and then as they come out, it's almost like the movement, the speed is dispersing. It makes it look elegant. So you can see here, she's moving with her shoulder, her hands are coming out. The movement from the shoulder then moves onto the hips, which then she starts to glide, and I can't move like that at all. But it looks really cool. It's, yeah, very similar to what you'll see a lot of street dancers doing there. Yeah, crazy. It's not something I would say is necessarily super high level. Maybe it's improvised, which adds an extra kind of element in there. Warming up, yeah. It's not something super high level. I can't move like that myself. It's the elegance which makes it up there. But you'll see a lot of dancers do it. But no, that's very nice in itself. And scrolling through, what have we got here? A little bit of bar work. Okay, just doing 180s. On the bar there, yeah, nice. We do this a lot in parkour. So when you're to swing from one bar to another, that's called a lâcher. But when you're just swinging, to swap like that isn't too difficult at all. It's quite a beginner movement there. It's a very nice movement on your shoulders, as I'm sure she's demonstrating there. Yeah, like a fairy emoji, just like feeling like you're swinging and hanging. It's a nice movement, essentially. Again, so it's very important with this movement, with any movement, to understand where the head goes, the body follows. So essentially, watch as she turns, right? I'm just going to pause this here. Right here. Wait, there. Okay. So you can see, if I get my pen up again, her shoulders have twisted before her hips have. On top of that, her head was the first thing to move. Her head and shoulders, really, right? So essentially, when you're swinging and you want to swap like that, you move your head and your shoulders are not far behind. Once you move your body, naturally your hands will move into a position which allows for an easier spin. Head moves, shoulders moves. Once the shoulders move and you're in the air like that with the main kind of force coming from the hands to spin you, the hips have no choice than to twist inwards, which then causes the legs to follow when you've done a 180. I definitely advise, if anyone hasn't done this movement before, to definitely go out and do it. You'll do it, very early on when it comes to parkour. But it's very nice. And from this, you can then start to work towards a 360 spin. Maybe you could do a 180 from bar to bar. There's a lot of moves to move from, to go from here. But no, it's a great movement, that one. And me being a little bit cheeky, let me just show you something I've done myself. A little bit of parkour from back in the summer. That was a bit, I kind of twisted my ankle on the run there. I thought I snapped something. I didn't. It was alright. But this happened after the main thing, which I'll show you in a sec. Here, so a little pop up there, a little running dyno onto the twist, gatefold down, popping down onto the bar. This was an interesting one, a little bit climbing tech, a little bit of a slip there. Lazy through, speed step through, and done. What I find, I would highly advise anyone who hasn't done before to do parkour, go out and do parkour, because parkour itself is so... If I was to advise any adult to get their kids to do two movements, it 100% would be parkour and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Parkour for learning how to move your body in an environment, how to learn to fall properly, and all that lovely stuff. And then Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, just have the interaction with someone else and understand how you move relative to someone else, causing force on your body. 100% amazing sports, it really is. But yeah, lovely, right. I think I'm going to leave it there. So yeah, that was essentially the first movement review. Now I do plan to look at some more kind of, some more ranges. I want some dancing there. I want to see some more parkour. I want to see, you know, hula hoop stuff or everything. So please do, you know, here's my Instagram. Please tag me in anything you want me to review, anything of yours, anything you've seen that'd be quite cool. I'm going to continue doing these because I love just kind of breaking things down a little bit, getting some more ideas. It inspires me, and maybe it inspires some of you guys kind of seeing this stuff compiled. But I'll leave you with that. And yeah, until next time, have a lovely day.